It started as an ordinary Sunday afternoon on Instagram, live until Rasheeda's sister, Toya, hit that go live button and unleashed chaos the internet wasn't ready for. Within minutes, thousands of fans flooded the chat, hearts racing, eyes glued to their screens. As her tone shifted from cheerful to shaky, you could hear it in her voice, the hesitation. The breath she took before saying something she probably wished she could take back. And then it slipped. One single sentence that changed everything fans thought they knew about Rasheeda and Kirk. "I told her not to cover for him this time," Toya said, eyes wide, realizing too late that she'd just confirmed what everyone had been whispering for weeks. The comments exploded. Wait, what does she mean cover for him? So the rumors are true. Is Rasheeda okay? Her phone started vibrating so much she had to hold it down. But instead of ending the live, Toya kept talking, tears gathering in the corners of her eyes as she said, "Family or not, I can't stay silent anymore. People deserve to know what's really going on." The clip spread like wildfire. Within hours, gossip pages had it on replay. TikTokers dissected every pause and facial twitch, and fans started connecting dots that had been overlooked for months. Cryptic captions, deleted photos, that sudden silence between Rasheeda and Kirk after their last public appearance. Some said it was about another woman, others believed it had to do with money, but one thing was clear: something inside that family had finally cracked. And this wasn't just another love and hip-hop moment. This was personal. People close to Rasheeda began speaking out quietly, deeming fan pages with anonymous statements that added fuel to the fire. One claimed the argument that mourning between the sisters had been about trust and betrayal. Another said Rasheeda had broken down crying when she heard what Toya said online. Kirk, meanwhile, went ghost. No comments, no statements, just silence, and that silence was louder than any denial could ever be. By nightfall, the internet had chosen sides. Some defended Toya for standing up for what she believed was right. Others dragged her for betraying her sister in front of the entire world. But what no one expected was that Toya had receipts, screenshots, messages, and voice notes she hinted she might share, if pushed. Suddenly, this wasn't just a family disagreement, it was a ticking bomb waiting to go off. And the worst part, Rasheeda herself had yet to speak. The question on everyone's mind was simple but chilling. What exactly was Toya talking about? And how deep did the lies go? The air around Rasheeda's family home felt heavy that night, like even the walls knew something had changed. Toy's live wasn't just a slip, it was a spark that lit up every hidden tension that had been quietly building for months. Fans who'd followed the family for years knew they weren't perfect, but no one expected this kind of storm. The next morning, Rasheeda woke up to hundreds of missed calls, a phone buzzing non-stop, and messages from friends, co-stars, and even producers. She didn't need to open her phone to know something had gone wrong. The moment she saw Toy's name trending, her heart sank. "Please tell me she didn't," she whispered under her breath, clutching her phone so tight her knuckles turned pale. She played the live back once, and that was enough. Her sister, her own bloodhead, said the one thing she begged her never to say in public. The confirmation everyone had been waiting for. Kirk walked in, half asleep, rubbing his eyes, but the look on her face made him freeze. "What happened now?" he asked, voice still rough from sleep. She didn't answer. She just threw the phone on the bed and said, "Watch it." The clip played, and Kirk's expression hardened. "She really said that," he muttered. He ran his hand over his head, pacing. "Man, this family don't know when to stop." Rasheeda sat down, silent, tears starting to form. "She's my sister, Kirk. Why would she do this? She knows what we've been dealing with." Kirk didn't respond immediately. He looked at her, the exhaustion in her eyes, the kind of pain that didn't come from just one incident. "You know what she's doing," he finally said. "She wants to expose something she don't even fully understand. She's mad, she's hurt, and she wants attention." But Rasheeda wasn't convinced. Toya wasn't the type to chase attention, at least she hadn't been. But something in that live stream, the way her voice shook when she said, "I can't stay silent anymore," told a deeper story. Maybe she knew more than anyone thought. Maybe this wasn't just about family loyalty, it was about truth. Still, the fallout was brutal. By noon, gossip pages had headlines like "Rasheeda's sister exposes family secret" and "the Frost family's perfect image shattered." Bloggers dissected every frame, every word, speculating about cheating, hidden kids, and money drama. Even people from the cast of Love and Hip Hop started commenting in cryptic ways. Carly Red posted a single eye emoji. Erica Dixon tweeted, "Family business should stay in the family." And just like that, the internet had turned the sisters' private pain into a public circus. Toya, meanwhile, was quiet. She hadn't gone live again, but she hadn't deleted the video either. People were begging her for answers, tagging her in stories, sending DMs asking what she meant. At first, she ignored it, but by evening, she posted a short message on her story that made everything worse. Sometimes, silence protects the wrong people. Those 6 words were enough to send fans spiraling. Theories exploded. Some believed Kirk had done something unforgivable. Others thought Rasheeda had been covering for someone in the family. And a few claimed this had nothing to do with cheating, it was about money. Rumors about Kirk's new business deals and unaccounted expenses began spreading fast. In the middle of it all, Rasheeda's mom Charlene got involved. She called Toy directly, furious. "Girl, what were you thinking? You don't put family stuff on live. Now everybody talkin', making up stories." Toy tried to explain, her voice trembling. "Mama, I didn't mean for it to blow up. I was upset. I said too much." Charlene didn't want to hear it. "No, you said enough to ruin your sister's peace. Do you know what she's going through right now?" But Toy snapped back, the guilt twisting into anger. "What about what I've been going through? Mama, you always defend her, like my feelings don't matter. I've been holding on to this secret for months, watching her act like everything's fine when it's not." The line went silent. Even Charlene didn't know what to say, because deep down, she knew Toy wasn't lying about feeling left out. Rasheeda had built her own world businesses, TV shows, fans, fame, and somewhere along the way, Toy felt like she'd become invisible. But this time, her silence had broken at the worst possible moment. Later that night, Rasheeda finally decided to call her sister. She didn't want to do it, but she needed answers. When Toy picked up, her voice was low, almost scared. "Hey." Rasheeda didn't waste time. "Why did you do it?" The line was quiet. "I didn't mean to," Toy whispered. "You didn't mean to," Rasheeda snapped. "You said things that got people attacking me, questioning my marriage, my life. Do you understand what you started?" Toy's breath hitched. "I just couldn't keep watching you lie for him, Ray. I couldn't. It's not right." There it was, the sentence that hung between them like a blade. "Lie for him." Rasheeda froze. "You don't know what you're talking about," she said softly, her voice breaking. "Then tell me I'm wrong," Toy replied, voice shaking but firm. "Tell me you didn't find out what he did last year. Tell me you're not pretending everything's fine for the cameras." Rasheeda couldn't speak. Her throat tightened. She didn't confirm it, but she didn't deny it either. The silence was an answer in itself. Toy started crying quietly. "I didn't want it to come out like this, but you've been protecting him for too long, sis. It's eating you alive." Rasheeda's voice cracked as she said, "You don't know what it's like to have the whole world judging you. I made my choice. I have a family to protect." After that call, everything changed. Toy hung up, knowing there was no going back. She sat in the dark, staring at her phone, shaking. The world already knew something was wrong, but now she understood just how deep the truth went. And while she thought she'd done the right thing, a part of her wondered if she'd just destroyed the only bond that truly mattered. Meanwhile, Kirk was on the phone with his manager, trying to control the damage. "We need to put out a statement," he said. "Something calm, professional. We can't let this get worse." But his manager's response wasn't what he wanted to hear. "Kirk, the problem isn't the media, it's the people. They already think there's something to hide. Unless you give them a version of the truth, they're gonna make their own." Kirk slammed his hand on the desk. "I'm not giving them nothing. They can talk all they want." But the pressure was building. Fans started digging into old episodes, old interviews, trying to find hints of tension. They found one clip from last year's reunion where Rasheeda avoided a question about trust issues. Suddenly, that moment looked like a confession. Toy's live had opened a wound that everyone could now see, and no amount of silence could close it. Inside the Frost household, things were tense. Rasheeda barely spoke to Kirk. The kids noticed. "Mommy, why are people saying bad things about Auntie?" her son asked one night. She forced a smile. "Don't listen to that, baby. Grown folks say silly things sometimes." But when he left the room, she broke down. She knew this wasn't over. And somewhere, deep down, she feared the next move Toy might make. Because rumors were spreading that Toy was planning another live this time, with proof. Fans were already setting reminders. Gossip accounts were ready to screen record, and everyone waited for what she'd say next. But what none of them knew was that Toy wasn't just sitting on information, she had a message she never meant to share. A secret that could turn everything upside down. And as midnight approached, the world waited, screens glowing, comments ready, wondering if the next live would end careers or finally reveal the truth. The next morning, the house felt eerily quiet. Rasheeda moved through it like a ghost, her mind racing with every possible scenario that Toy's live could have triggered. Every ring of her phone made her heart skip a beat. Every notification felt like another person judging, analyzing, waiting for her to slip. She knew the fans were relentless, but this was different. This wasn't just speculation. Any Mordwai had confirmed something. And the problem wasn't just the public, it was inside the family. The dynamics had shifted overnight, and no one knew who could be trusted. Kirk tried to act normal, brushing off the tension with a casual morning, but Rasheeda saw through it. His eyes darted to his phone more than usual, and his jaw was tight, the way it gets when he's trying to suppress panic. She decided she needed answers, but not from Toy this time. She turned to her mother, Charlene. "Mama, what do you know?" she asked, her voice soft but steady. Charlene sighed, wringing her hands. "Rise, I know more than I should, but less than you think. It's complicated. The family is divided, and you've got to be careful how you handle this." Rasheeda's stomach twisted. Careful? After what had happened online, careful sounded like a death sentence. "Mama, careful isn't enough. I need to know everything. If we keep secrets, this just keeps growing." Charlene hesitated, looking away. "There are things that even Toy doesn't understand." She's speaking from hurt, from jealousy, from feeling left out. But there's truth in what she said. "Rise. Don't ignore that." Kirk, standing behind her, tried to intervene. "Charlene, we can't just air this. People will eat her alive. This is private, family stuff. We fix it internally, or we don't fix it at all." Rasheeda turned to him, eyes blazing. "Fix it. Kirk, the truth's out." Toy didn't whisper it to one friend. She went live. "The damage is done. Pretending it didn't happen isn't fixing anything." Kirk's hands shook slightly as he rubbed his temples. "Then what do you want me to do?" he asked, almost pleading. Rasheeda didn't answer. She didn't know herself. All she knew was that she couldn't act like the world hadn't changed overnight. Fans were relentless. By the afternoon, the clip of Toy's live had been shared millions of times across Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Memes were made, theories were built, even fan accounts that rarely touched reality TV had jumped in. Every mention of Rasheeda now came with the hashtags #FamilyDrama, #TruthRevealed, #FrostChaos. The frenzy had grown beyond social media. Friends, co-workers, and even strangers approached Rasheeda on the street, asking questions, whispering accusations, and watching for a reaction. The pressure was crushing. She had always known fame came with scrutiny, but this was different. This was intimate, personal, and raw. Toy, meanwhile, felt a strange mixture of satisfaction and dread. She hadn't intended to start a public battle, but the moment she saw the comments pour in, she realized there was no turning back. Messages flooded her inbox, some supportive, some cruel. Fans who had once adored Rasheeda now whispered about betrayal, secrecy, and lies. Some tagged Toy, begging for answers, offering support, and sometimes shaming her for exposing her sister. Toy read each one, feeling the weight of responsibility crush her. She hadn't expected this level of attention, this level of chaos. Yet somewhere deep inside, she felt relief. The secret she had been carrying was finally out. Later that night, Rasheeda sat alone in her bedroom, scrolling through the clips, the memes, the comments, trying to find clarity in the chaos. Every frame of Toy's live replayed in her mind. Every pause, every inflection, every word magnified. She could almost hear the gasp of fans, the disbelief, the subtle accusations hidden in She knew this wasn't just about Toy anymore. The public now had stakes in her family, in her marriage, in her life. She tried to push it away, telling herself it was ridiculous. That family drama didn't belong online, but she couldn't escape the feeling that something irreversible had happened. Kirk joined her after a while, leaning against the doorway. "Rise, we have to think about damage control," he said, voice low. Rasheeda didn't look at him. "Damage control doesn't erase what was said, Kirk. You can't undo the truth, and people can see that. This isn't about the fans. It's about us. And right now, we're falling apart in front of everyone." Kirk swallowed hard, then said, almost whispering, "Then what do we do?" Rasheeda finally met his eyes, a mix of anger, sadness, and exhaustion. "We survive. We figure out who we trust. We face whatever comes next. Together or apart." Kirk nodded slowly, the tension in his shoulders easing just a fraction. He didn't know if she meant together in unity or together in facing public judgment, but he couldn't argue. The next morning brought another twist. Toy had posted a cryptic story, a single sentence. "Sometimes protection feels like betrayal." The internet went into overdrive. What was she protecting? Who was being betrayed? Fans speculated endlessly, connecting old interviews, past social media posts, and reunion episodes. One theory suggested Kirk had made a business decision behind Rasheeda's back. Another hinted at an affair. Others, more dramatic, claimed there was a hidden child. The frenzy was so intense that even mainstream media outlets picked it up. Reporting, Rasheeda's sister hints at shocking family secrets. Inside the household, emotions ran high. Rasheeda's mother confronted Toy again, this time in person. "Girl, this is too far. Don't you see what you've done? The family is divided. The public is attacking your sister, and you're still posting these cryptic things." Toy, standing tall despite the trembling in her hands, replied, "Mama, I'm not trying to hurt her. I'm just done pretending everything's fine. Something has to change." Charlene's eyes filled with tears, anger and helplessness mixing together. "You don't understand the consequences, girl. This isn't just family gossip anymore. This is the world watching, and there's no turning back." At the same time, fans started calling Rasheeda relentlessly. They wanted interviews, explanations, and personal reactions. Every call felt like a spotlight, every text a magnifying glass on her life. Some sent supportive messages, others cruel threats, disguised as questions. Rasheeda knew one wrong word could ignite another scandal. The pressure was relentless. She realized that surviving this storm wasn't about defending herself. It was about controlling what she could and preparing for what she couldn't. Kirk, feeling the weight of the storm, took action. He reached out to a PR team, explaining the delicate balance. "The family is fragile. The public is watching. We need statements that protect her, protect us, and calm the chaos." The PR manager hesitated. "Kirk, it's beyond calm now. We can't control the narrative. All we can do is manage responses and contain it as best we can." Kirk leaned back, jaw tight. "Then do it. We handle it quietly, professionally, before it gets worse." But the storm wasn't going to be contained. Toy had already started talking to anonymous sources, sending hints of screenshots, texts, and voice notes. The internet smelled blood and went wild. Every detail was dissected, every emoji analyzed. The family's private life had become public entertainment, and the real story was only beginning to unfold. Rasheeda knew one thing for certain. By the end of the week, nothing would ever be the same. The family had crossed a line from private drama to public spectacle. The world now knew there were fractures beneath the surface, and Toy had just shown them. And as she sat in her room, phone in hand, staring at the endless notifications, she realized the hardest part wasn't what Toy had said, it was what was yet to come. The following days felt like a never-ending nightmare for Rasheeda. Every time she stepped outside, it was like walking into a gauntlet. Fans recognized her instantly, some whispering questions, others snapping pictures, all pretending to be casual. Paparazzi camped near her boutique, waiting for a glimpse, a comment, or even a hint of emotion that could be turned into a headline. Inside the house, the tension was suffocating. Kirk tried to maintain calm, but even he couldn't hide the anxiety creeping into every conversation. Meetings were postponed, calls were ignored, and every interaction felt like it carried the potential for another leak. Toy, meanwhile, had retreated slightly but not entirely. She wasn't posting live anymore, but the cryptic captions and subtle hints continued. "Truth finds its way," she wrote one morning, followed by a sad emoji. Fans instantly went into analysis mode. What was the truth? Did it involve Kirk, Rasheeda, or was it something no one had considered yet? Conspiracy theories ran wild. Threads on Reddit exploded with speculation, while YouTube commentators pieced together old footage, looking for any sign of corroboration. It was like the family's private life had been turned into a multi-season reality show, with the first explosive episode already airing without warning. Inside, Rasheeda felt trapped. The walls seemed to close in, every conversation weighed down by the possibility of leaks. She tried calling friends for advice, but everyone had an opinion, and most opinions were fueled by what they had seen online. "You need to respond," one friend said. "Silence will kill your reputation." Another warned, "Any word you say could make it worse." Sometimes the best defense is strategy, not reaction. Rasheeda didn't know which advice to follow. Reacting could make her seem guilty. Staying silent could make her look complicit. Every choice felt like a trap. Kirk tried to shield her, but it was like trying to hold back a flood with a paper towel. "Let me handle it," he said during a tense moment in the kitchen. "Don't post, don't talk, just let me coordinate with the PR team." Rasheeda, exhausted and teary-eyed, nodded. She knew he was trying, but she also knew he couldn't control the internet. Too much had been said, and once words are out there, they take on a life of their own. Fans began connecting old patterns that had seemed innocent at the time. They dug up photos of Rasheeda with slightly awkward body language around Kirk in recent events, old posts deleted from social media that hinted at tension, and even interviews where she carefully avoided certain topics. Each discovery was magnified, shared, and dissected. Commentary exploded. She's hiding something. Kirk's shady. The family is full of secrets. Hashtags multiplied, every one more dramatic than the last. The pressure wasn't just on Rasheeda anymore, it was on the entire Frost household. Toy, though careful, was still in the game. She posted another story. Simple text against a dark background. Some truths are heavier than silence. The fans read it as a challenge, a dare, a confirmation that more was coming. Gossip pages speculated. Was she planning to reveal the screenshots, voice notes, hidden conversations? The anticipation alone was enough to create a frenzy. Live streams, reaction videos, and debates proliferated online. It felt as if the world itself had become a stage, and Rasheeda's family had unwillingly become the main actors. Inside the house, tempers flared. Charlene tried mediating between the sisters, but it was impossible. "Toy, you've gone too far," she said, her voice trembling. "You can't keep posting these things and expect peace." Toy shook her head, tears brimming. "Mama, peace is gone. It's been gone for a long time. I can't pretend anymore. I can't watch her protect someone who isn't honest." Rasheeda overheard and felt a mix of hurt and fury. Protecting Kirk had been her choice, her attempt to preserve her family and her marriage. But Toy had made it public, and the intent behind her words was irrelevant to the damage done. Kirk, meanwhile, felt trapped between two fires: public scrutiny and family tension. He sat in his office, scrolling through fan pages, comments, and threads. Every click was a punch to the gut. Some fans claimed he was cheating, others insisted he was manipulating Rasheeda, and some even accused him of exploiting family for fame. He tried to keep a level head, calling his manager repeatedly. "We need a plan," he said. "If this keeps escalating, it's going to ruin everything." The manager sighed. "Kirk, some things can't be fixed with a plan. This is personal. Family drama mixed with the public. All we can do is manage responses and hope it doesn't spiral further." By nightfall, the family convened for what they called an emergency meeting. The air was thick with tension. Rasheeda sat quietly, hands folded, while Kirk tried to calm everyone. Toy remained distant, eyes downcast, but resolute. Charlene, torn between protecting both daughters, tried to mediate. "Look, this is about communication. Everyone needs to be honest about feelings, boundaries, and what's safe to share." Rasheeda finally spoke, voice steady but low. "This isn't just about feelings. This is about truth that affects our lives and how the world sees us. And now, nothing will ever be private again." The room went silent. Everyone knew she was right. Toy's live had shifted the dynamics completely. What was once manageable as private family drama had become public spectacle. The realization hit hard. Trust had been broken, reputations were at stake, and the only way forward was navigating an impossible labyrinth of emotions, expectations, and relentless scrutiny. Outside, the internet wasn't slowing down. New clips, reactions, and analyses kept appearing. Every time Rasheeda scrolled her feed, it felt like she was walking through a hall of mirrors, each reflection showing a different version of herself, her family, and the scandal. She realized the battle was not just internal, it was public, perpetual, and unpredictable. And somewhere in the chaos, she understood that the next move, by her or Toy, could ignite another wildfire that no one could put out. As the night deepened, Rasheeda retreated to her room. Kirk followed quietly, not speaking. She held her phone tightly, the blue light casting shadows across her face. She thought of Toy, the live, the fans, the memes, the headlines. She thought of her family, her marriage, and her image. And somewhere in that quiet, heavy room, Rasheeda realized that surviving this storm wouldn't just be about managing public perception. It would be about facing the truth that had finally forced its way into the open. And with that thought, the house sank into uneasy silence, knowing that the next day would bring more revelations, more drama, and possibly, more heartbreak. The following morning brought no relief. Rasheeda awoke to her phone buzzing incessantly, notifications stacking up like a ticking time bomb. Fans were relentless, some sending supportive messages, others laced with judgment and speculation. Gossip pages had compiled clips of Toys live, now edited and reposted with dramatic captions that painted every glance and word from Rasheeda in a suspicious light. She scrolled through the feed, heart pounding, realizing the story had grown far beyond her control. Every like, share, and comment had become another layer of pressure, and the weight of public attention was suffocating. Kirk tried to keep the atmosphere calm, but even he could sense the storm brewing. He attempted casual conversation, small smiles, but Rasheeda barely responded. The silence between them was thick, filled with unspoken tension and mutual fear of the next unexpected revelation. "Rise, you need to rest," he said softly, placing a hand on her shoulder. She shook her head. "I can't, Kirk. The world is watching. And She's not stopping." Kirk sighed, knowing she was right. The viral reach of Toys Live had opened a door that could never be closed, and they were now pawns in an unpredictable game. Toy herself spent the morning pacing her room, reading reactions and comments. The support was overwhelming, but so was the backlash. Some fans labeled her a traitor, accusing her of intentionally sabotaging her sister. Others praised her courage, calling her a whistleblower for the family's hidden truths. Toy felt torn. She hadn't planned to ignite this level of chaos, yet a part of her felt vindicated for finally speaking out. Her message had resonated, but she couldn't shake the creeping fear that she might have irreparably damaged the bond with Rasheeda. Inside the Frost household, tensions flared as family members reacted differently to the growing scandal. Shirlene confronted Toy once again, her voice a mix of anger and sorrow. "Toy, you've gone too far. Do you see what's happening? Everyone is turning against your sister, and you're still posting these cryptic messages." Toy's voice wavered, but her stance was firm. "Mama, I'm not hurting her on purpose. I just couldn't stay silent anymore. The truth matters." Rasheeda, overhearing the conversation, felt a swell of conflicting emotions: anger at her sister, fear for her family, and exhaustion from being caught in a public frenzy she never asked for. Meanwhile, Kirk began coordinating with a PR team to try and mitigate the damage. He stressed the delicate balance of managing public perception without inflaming Toy's actions. "We need statements that are calm, professional, and protect the family," he told them. The PR manager responded cautiously, "Kirk, the issue isn't the statements anymore. The narrative is already public, and the fans have taken control. All we can do is contain it as best we can." Kirk clenched his jaw, frustrated but aware that some situations simply couldn't be fully controlled once the truth or a version of it was out. As the day wore on, fans and media outlets pieced together old footage, social media posts, and interviews, turning every gesture, glance, or omission into supposed evidence. One clip from a reunion episode, in which Rasheeda had avoided a direct question about trust, went viral. Captions speculated on hidden affairs, financial disputes, and long-standing family secrets. Hashtags proliferated, including hashtag Frost Family Drama, hashtag Toy Reveals, and hashtag Truth or Lie, driving further engagement and escalating the frenzy. Rasheeda watched helplessly, knowing that nothing she did could stop the narrative from evolving. By evening, Toy posted another cryptic message: "Some truths weigh more than comfort." Fans immediately speculated wildly. Was she hinting at hidden conversations, messages, or evidence of betrayal? The anticipation intensified the online frenzy. Reaction videos multiplied, debates flared on forums, and every minor public interaction of the family was scrutinized. The tension in the household mirrored the chaos online, each member struggling to navigate the storm that Toy had unleashed. Inside the home, emotions continued to boil over. Rasheeda struggled with feelings of betrayal and frustration while simultaneously grappling with empathy for her sister's pain. Kirk attempted to mediate, but even his presence couldn't temper the intensity of their emotions. "This isn't just about social media," Rasheeda finally said, voice trembling. "This is about everything we've built, our family, our reputation, our lives. And now it's all out there for judgment." Kirk nodded quietly, realizing that the public had become an unwelcome witness to their most intimate conflicts. As night fell, the family gathered once more, attempting a calm discussion. Shirlene emphasized communication and honesty, urging both sisters to speak openly without letting the outside world dictate their emotions. Toy, though still shaken, asserted her stance, insisting that she could no longer suppress her perspective for the sake of appearances. Rasheeda, weary and emotional, recognized that the damage had already been done. The privacy she once cherished had vanished, replaced by relentless speculation and scrutiny. Outside the home, fans and media continued their relentless pursuit. Clips of Toys Live were shared endlessly, dissected for tone, body language, and hidden meanings. New theories emerged, fueled by selective edits and online interpretations. The Frost family's personal drama had become public entertainment, a spectacle dissected across social media platforms. Rasheeda understood that the coming days would require vigilance, resilience, and careful navigation of both family dynamics and public perception. As Rasheeda sat in the quiet of her room that night, she reflected on the sudden shift in her life. Toy's actions had ignited a chain reaction that would not easily be contained. The family's private struggles were now public fodder, and the path forward was uncertain. She understood that every decision, every word, and every interaction could fuel the ongoing storm. With that heavy awareness, Rasheeda resolved to confront the unfolding reality, knowing that survival would demand strength, strategy, and the courage to face truths long buried. The next morning, the Frost household was tense with a quiet that felt heavier than ever. Every movement seemed amplified, every sound carrying the weight of what had been exposed. Rasheeda tried to maintain her usual routine, but even mundane tasks felt impossible under the gaze of an invisible audience. Every call she answered, every text she sent, seemed like a potential trigger for another viral post. The family had become performers in a drama they had never auditioned for, and the stakes were higher than they had ever imagined. Kirk, sensing the mounting pressure, took initiative. He spent hours on calls with advisors, strategizing ways to manage public perception while keeping the family's internal dynamics intact. "We have to get ahead of this," he said to Rasheeda, who sat silently nearby, phone in hand. She shook her head slowly. "Kirk, it's not about controlling the narrative anymore. The narrative controls us now." His jaw tightened as he absorbed the truth in her words. No amount of careful statements or strategic posts could erase the confirmation that Toy's live had provided. The damage, intentional or not, had been done. Toy, on the other hand, was becoming increasingly emboldened. She had not posted another live, but her social media presence was carefully curated to keep speculation alive. Short, cryptic messages, subtle references to truth and transparency, and carefully chosen emojis kept fans guessing. Reaction videos proliferated, theories multiplied, and each new interpretation sent shockwaves through fan communities. Toy watched the engagement metric spike, a mixture of satisfaction and anxiety twisting inside her. She hadn't intended to become a central figure in a public frenzy, yet she couldn't deny the sense of power that came with having the truth, or at least a version of it, in her hands. Inside the house, emotions ran high. Charlene, caught between the two daughters, tried to maintain a semblance of control. "This has gone too far," she said firmly during a heated discussion. "Toy, you've put your sister in the public eye in a way that's dangerous. Rasheeda, you have to face this together with me. No more secrets. No more hiding." Toy's voice wavered but remained resolute. "I can't keep pretending, Mama. She needs to face reality, just like the rest of us." Rasheeda, feeling both hurt and anger, finally spoke. "Facing reality isn't as simple as speaking a few truths, Toy. There's a lifetime of decisions and consequences. This isn't just about exposure, it's about trust, love, and respect." As the day progressed, fans' reactions became increasingly intense. Discussion threads expanded, memes circulated, and fan theories evolved into detailed narratives connecting past events with the current drama. Each fragment of Toy's live was replayed, dissected, and interpreted to fit various angles of speculation. Hashtags multiplied, combining the words truth, betrayal, family, and exposed, reflecting the collective obsession with the unfolding story. The Frost family, despite their efforts, was caught in a whirlwind of public scrutiny that felt impossible to escape. Kirk realized the family needed a united front, but forging that front required careful diplomacy. He approached Rasheeda with a plan to address the public in a controlled manner, aiming to clarify misinterpretations without igniting further controversy. Rasheeda listened, considering the proposal, yet remained cautious. "Every word is dangerous," she warned. "Say too little, and they'll accuse us of hiding. Say too much, and it becomes ammunition for more speculation. There is no right choice here." Kirk nodded, acknowledging the impossible position they were in. Toy, meanwhile, wrestled with her own doubts. She had ignited the storm, and though she believed in the importance of truth, she questioned whether the public exposure was justified. The private nature of family bonds clashed with her desire for transparency. Yet the engagement and validation from fans provided an intoxicating reassurance. She realized that by staying silent, the world would continue to believe in the curated version of reality she had challenged. By speaking, even cryptically, she was shifting the narrative, though at great personal cost. Tensions peaked that evening when Rasheeda and Toy confronted each other privately. The conversation was raw, emotional, and unfiltered. "You don't understand the damage you've caused," Rasheeda said, her voice trembling with a mixture of anger and sorrow. Toy's eyes welled with tears, but her resolve remained. "I understand more than you think. I'm tired of watching you suffer in silence while protecting someone who isn't honest." The air was thick with unspoken accusations, memories of past grievances, and a mutual recognition that the relationship between sisters had been forever altered. Charlene, witnessing the confrontation, struggled to mediate. "Enough," she implored. This is tearing the family apart. If you can't find a way to communicate without attacking, the public will consume every moment of it. Is that what you want? The silence that followed was heavy, filled with reflection and the bitter acknowledgement of reality. Rasheeda's gaze softened slightly, though her pain remained palpable. Toy exhaled slowly, the fight momentarily subsiding but the tension lingering. As night fell, the family retreated to their respective rooms. The house, once filled with laughter and familiarity, now resonated with quiet unease. Rasheeda sat alone, scrolling through the endless fan reactions, contemplating every possible next step. Kirk joined her briefly, offering support without words. Toy, isolated in her own space, felt the weight of her choices pressing down. Aware that her actions had irrevocably changed the family's dynamic, the internet continued its relentless scrutiny. Posts, memes, and reaction videos proliferated, ensuring the story remained in public consciousness. Every glance, every social media interaction, and every subtle gesture from the family was interpreted as evidence, feeding the cycle of speculation. The Frost household was now a stage for a drama that no one could fully control, and the family itself had become both protagonist and antagonist in a narrative shaped by public obsession. In that stillness, Rasheeda recognized a sobering truth. Survival would require more than careful communication or strategic statements. It would demand resilience, strategic thinking, and the courage to face truths long buried. She understood that the storm was far from over, and that the coming days would test the family in ways they had never imagined. The consequences of Toy's live were only beginning to unfold, and the Frost family had no choice but to navigate the relentless tide of public attention and internal conflict. The following morning, tension lingered in every corner of the Frost household. Rasheeda awoke to an onslaught of notifications, each one a reminder that Toy's live had sent ripples far beyond anything she could control. The internet had turned her family's private lives into a spectacle, and the fallout was relentless. Fans speculated wildly, piecing together fragments of old videos, interviews, and social media posts to create elaborate narratives about hidden betrayals, financial disputes, and unresolved family tension. The weight of it all pressed down, making each breath feel heavy and deliberate. Kirk moved through the house with cautious precision, attempting to shield Rasheeda from the endless digital storm. "We need to stay calm," he urged. But his own anxiety was evident in the way he checked his phone repeatedly, monitoring trending hashtags and reaction videos. Rasheeda shook her head, exhaustion and frustration etched across her face. "Calm won't fix this, Kirk. Toy's live changed everything. It's not just about managing the narrative anymore, it's about surviving the fallout." His jaw tightened. He understood her perfectly. The realization settling like a weight in his chest that the family's reality had shifted irrevocably. Toy, sitting in her room, read through the thousands of messages pouring in from fans. Some praised her courage, others condemned her for exposing family secrets, and a few speculated with alarming creativity about hidden scandals and betrayals. She felt a mixture of validation and guilt, knowing that her actions had set off a storm that might never subside. Still, a part of her felt a grim satisfaction. For too long, she had remained silent, suppressing her truth for the sake of appearances. Now, her voice had been heard, even if it came with consequences she could scarcely control. Inside the house, emotions ran high. Shirlene attempted to mediate, desperately trying to hold the family together. "Toy, you've gone too far," she said, frustration cracking her voice. "You can't post cryptic messages and expect the family to survive unscathed." Toy met her mother's gaze, tears brimming but determination clear. "Mama, I'm not hurting Rasheeda on purpose. I'm done pretending everything is fine. The truth has to be heard." Rasheeda, overhearing, felt a swirl of conflicting emotions, anger, betrayal, and a deep sense of vulnerability. She had been blindsided, and now the world knew more about their family than she ever intended. Kirk, realizing the situation required careful management, reached out to the PR team. "We have to contain this," he said, his voice tight. "The public frenzy is escalating, and if we don't act quickly, it will spiral out of control." The PR manager responded cautiously. "Kirk, some things are beyond containment. The live has gone viral. People are creating their own stories. The only thing we can do is respond strategically, not try to erase it." Kirk exhaled sharply, understanding that the delicate balance of family and public perception was teetering on the edge of collapse. Fans' obsession with the family grew exponentially. Reaction videos dissected every nuance of Toy's expressions, captions, and gestures. Clips of past events, interviews, and public appearances were revisited and reinterpreted, each new analysis further fueling speculation. Hashtags multiplied, trending endlessly across social media platforms, while online communities debated endlessly about motives, secrets, and betrayals. The Frost family's personal drama had become public entertainment, a spectacle they were unwillingly starring in. By evening, Toy posted another cryptic update. Sometimes, the heaviest truths are the ones we carry silently. Fans immediately exploded with speculation. Was she referring to hidden messages, private conversations, or undisclosed family tensions? The ambiguity fueled the frenzy, and countless fan theories proliferated. Reaction videos, memes, and posts multiplied across platforms, each attempting to decode Toy's meaning. The pressure on the family was relentless, both from public scrutiny and from the internal strain the live had caused. Inside, Rasheeda and Toy eventually confronted each other privately. The tension between them was palpable, words laced with years of suppressed frustration and recent hurt. "You don't understand what you've done," Rasheeda said, voice trembling. Toy's eyes glistened with tears, but she held firm. "I do understand. And I'm tired of staying silent while things are hidden from everyone who matters." The exchange was raw and emotional, revealing the fragile, fractured nature of their bond. Shirlene watched silently from a distance, powerless to prevent the emotional eruption but hoping it might lead to some resolution. The night descended with a heavy weight. The family retreated to their rooms, the house eerily quiet except for the occasional sound of typing or notification pings. Rasheeda stared at her phone, absorbing the magnitude of public reaction and contemplating her next moves. Kirk, equally exhausted, tried to provide quiet support, knowing that each decision now carried potential consequences for their public image and family integrity. Toy, isolated yet determined, wrestled with her choice to speak out. Aware that the storm she had set in motion was far from over, the internet continued its relentless scrutiny. Fan theories, reaction videos, and meme compilations circulated with astonishing speed, ensuring that the story remained at the forefront of social media. Each public interaction by the Frost family was dissected for meaning, feeding a cycle of speculation and obsession. The private world of the family had become a stage for global entertainment, and there was no turning back. As Rasheeda reflected on the unfolding chaos, she recognized the stark reality: surviving this storm would demand more than careful statements or controlled responses. It would require resilience, strategic thinking, and courage to face truths that had long been buried. Toy's live had ignited a chain reaction that would test every relationship, every loyalty, and every facet of the family's life. And as the Frost family braced for what lay ahead, it became painfully clear that the drama was far from over, and the coming days would challenge them in ways they had never imagined. All right, here's a Reddit voiceover, dramatic and engaging 1,000-word call-to-action segment in plain text, following your style and tone. Fans, now that you've seen the storm unfold, the arguments, the secrets, the betrayals, and the confessions, you can feel it too. This isn't just a story. It's a whirlwind that's shaking an entire family to its core. The tension, the heartbreak, the anger, and the moments of silence that speak louder than words, they're all here, and every second matters. Rasheeda, Toy, Kirk, and everyone involved are caught in a tide of emotions that is impossible to ignore. And you've been here from the very first second, watching as events spiral faster than anyone could have predicted. This is where it gets real, where every decision matters, and where the lines between loyalty, love, and betrayal blur into something that fans like you are desperate to understand. Now, it's your turn. What do you think really happened behind closed doors? Did Toy go too far? Or did she finally reveal the truth everyone was too afraid to speak? Was Rasheeda right to protect what she thought was best for her family? Or did she underestimate the consequences of silence? Kirk has been caught in the middle, trying to shield and strategize. But even he can't control how the world is watching, reacting, and judging every move. You've seen the tension, the heartbreak, and the moments that make your heart race. And now it's time to voice your thoughts. We want to know what you really think: who's in the right, who's in the wrong, and what could possibly happen next. Your opinions, your theories, and your insights are the next chapter in this story, because fans like you keep the conversation alive, making the drama bigger, more intense, and impossible to ignore. If you've been following the story from the start, you know this is far from over. The revelations, the leaked live, the cryptic posts, and the emotional confrontations have set the stage for events that could shock even the most loyal fans. Every message, every reaction, every hint and clue posted online adds fuel to the fire. And it's all happening right before your eyes. Imagine being inside the Frost household right now, feeling the tension, seeing the hurt, hearing the whispers, And knowing that the world is watching and waiting for every slip. It's raw, it's real, and it's the kind of drama that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Heart pounding, eyes glued to every update. Here's where you come in. We want you to be part of this conversation, to share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Rasheeda will confront Toy publicly next, or will there be a private resolution? Will Kirk step up and try to restore balance, or will his efforts backfire under public scrutiny? What do you think Toy will do next? Stay silent, post another hint, or reveal even more? Your theories aren't just fun, they're part of the drama. Every comment, every reaction, every opinion adds to the intensity of this story, shaping how the world sees it and how the family itself might respond. Fans like you are not just observers. You're part of the unfolding chaos, giving energy and life to every moment of tension and every secret that has been exposed. And don't forget to hit that like button if this drama had your heart racing, if you were shocked by Toy's live, if you felt the heartbreak when Rasheeda confronted her sister, or if you couldn't believe how much the family dynamics have changed in just a few days. Every like is a sign that this story matters, that the emotions, the suspense, and the drama are being felt far and wide. When you like the video, you're showing that you're invested in the story, that you're here for every twist, every betrayal, every tear, and every confession that comes next. It's your way of saying, yes, we're watching, we care, and we want more. Subscribing is even more important. By subscribing, you make sure you never miss a moment of this unfolding drama. The Frost family saga is ongoing, and trust me, things are far from settled. More revelations, confrontations, and surprises are coming. And subscribing ensures that you're always front and center when the next bombshell drops. Every subscriber becomes part of the community that discusses, debates, and dissects every detail. You'll be the first to see every post, every reaction, every cryptic message, and every new leak. And with notifications turned on, you'll feel like you're inside the house, seeing everything firsthand, and reacting in real time alongside thousands of other fans who are just as invested as you are. And here's something you can't miss. We want to hear your voice, your thoughts, and your predictions. Who do you trust more, Rasheeda or Toy? Will the family recover from this storm? Or has the live changed everything forever? What do you think Kirk's next move will be? Share your theories, debate with others, and weigh in on every controversial moment. The more detailed your comment, the more it fuels the conversation and helps everyone understand the many layers of this drama. Your engagement isn't just about watching, it's about becoming part of the story itself, leaving your mark on how this unfolds and influencing the conversation around one of the most explosive family dramas to hit reality TV social media in years. Fans, this is your moment. Join the conversation, like, subscribe, and comment. Be part of the community that watches, analyzes, and reacts in real time. Help shape the story, share your theories, and stay ahead of every twist and turn. The Frost family saga isn't over, far from it. With every post, every leak, every reaction, and every confrontation, the story grows bigger, and you can be part of it. Your voice, your opinion, and your engagement matter more than you think. So, are you ready? Are you ready to witness the next chapter? To analyze every gesture, to debate every decision, and to feel every emotion right alongside Rasheeda, Toy, Kirk, and their family? Then hit like, smash that subscribe button, and leave your comment below. Tell us what you think, what you feel, and what you want to see happen next. The drama is far from over, and together, we're going to watch every shocking, emotional, and unbelievable moment unfold. Fans are shocked, emotions are running high, and the Frost family has been left divided, but your engagement can bring the story to life like never before. Don't wait, be part of this whirlwind. Like, subscribe, and comment now, because the next revelation could happen at any moment, and you'll want to be there to witness it firsthand, analyze it, and join the discussion with thousands of other fans who, just like you, can't get enough of this explosive family drama. The storm has only just begun, and the world is watching.